Well, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxchair, on the show tonight. It's my two muckers, Southside and JFK. How we doing, gentlemen?
All right, Oxchair. All right, Southside.
Aye, good, Ox, and good to be on the night, JFK, and everybody listening. Hope you enjoy the show tonight.
Here. How you been, JFK?
I've been tickety-boo, mate. Tickety-boo, just chilling out. It was my birthday on Wednesday. It was my 44th anniversary of my 21st birthday.
Oh, right, okay.
So there you go. Still just celebrating that 21st birthday, a long time.
Big one, but that's new, is it?
I know. Enjoyed the game. That was icing in the cake for me. A bit of birthday cake plus the Rangers winning. So I'm happy days. A few nice presents. Thank everybody for some nice messages, especially some of the people who listen to Rangers Radio. Sent me some lovely messages. So thank you all for that, guys and gals.
Just put a check in the post the next time. It's more appreciated.
Okay.
Aye, popular guy, Jimmy.
Yeah, well, so I'm told.
Yes. Right, okay. Are you big Southside?
Aye, good, mate. Aye, good. Enjoyed Wednesday night through there at Edinburgh. Good result in the end for the boys. Keeps us top of the league.
Aye, listen. I know it wasn't a vintage performance. It was maybe an exciting game without too much goals. Maybe the circumstances start making it exciting. But third game in 6 days, mate. Time of the season, a lot of things. You just take the result and you move on.
Aye, like you said, he hasn't changed the team much in the 3 games, you know, player here or there. It was a hard performance. The boys, troops done well, you know, keep saying boys, man. The troops done well, and eventually we grinded it out, mate, and we got the right result. And that's another tick in the box for an away game out the road. And it was just good. Bridgeman done his, mate. That's what mattered, and that's what we got at the end, you know.
Yeah. Traditionally a hard place to go to, GFK, even though we're forming the top flight against them. It's pretty good, but it's always a hard place to go.
Yeah, and in all the years I've been going to Easter Road, it's always been hard, although they've not beat us for a lot of years now at Easter Road. But it is a hard place. It's usually only 1 or 2 goals in it. But look, on the 90 minutes, we deserved the result, the 1-0, whether it was a penalty or a whatever. But no, for me, I'm really pleased. It's a good 3 points, a hard 3 points, because we were on a hiding to nothing, because this was a team that had allegedly annihilated us in the semi-final, which they didn't, because it was what they doing in the semi-final. So, but it was a scrappy game, a few errors, but for me, very pleasing that we got that goal in the 83rd minute. So, aye. It's on to Dundee now, mate, at Ibrox tomorrow, so still with the 4 points ahead.
Aye. Listen, you're right, spot on. Are people making enough of it? Southside Europe, game in a plastic pitch, then we play Easter Road. All positive results. Why are people dissecting one-way performance and a couple of, say, misplaced passes for, say, Connor Golson, which he did there, I'm not denying that. God, who hasn't made a bad pass in a football match, Southside? I don't know.
Because it's the usual, innit? We all demand perfection. That's what we want for our team, innit? That's exactly what it is. But aye, mate, when we've had 3 hard games, European game, gone in the plastic pitch, and also with the weather, then brushing the snow and that off the park before it, and I was at Livingston, and the park was absolutely soaking on that surface and that, you know. And I was thinking, I hope he'd come out of here without an injury today. That was the most important thing after the win, looking at the surface, you know. But aye, mate, and we went Easter Road, and aye, we'd liked a better performance, like Jimmy says, but we had some scrappy bits of play, and they were in the game at times, and we looked a bit ordinary, I thought, and then we managed to get ourselves back in. I thought Arfield changed the game. So... Yeah. Aye, a lot of people will pick up, and it wasn't a great performance, and he wasn't great, or he wasn't that good. But see, at the end of the day, the team wins as a team, we lose as a team, and the collective is that we won. The league's important, and we've took another 3 points, especially away from home against the Hibs.
I get it. We'll come on and we'll talk about what we think after the match, JFK. We've done it for a long number of years now. We'll give our own personal opinions.
Doesn't work.
He played well, he didn't play well, he done this and he done that, but I don't know why we have to dissect it so deep and turn on our own players. I just don't understand it, mate.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've been the biggest one for saying no. You're always allowed to.
I'm not a fan of Hadji. I can't say that, but if he plays well, I like to think I admit he plays well, yeah.
Aye, no, I'm no. I've been on here and I've said that you're entitled to be a critic of players in the team, but some of the stuff I've been seeing at the start of this season is well overboard. It's easy for people to pick on Goldson. Goldson was by far probably in the top 3 of our players last season. I thought he was a man of the match on Wednesday night, but for whatever reason, people still want to go there and chastise Connor Goldson. I mean, it's a Rangers 13, 14 players collectively who got that result on Wednesday night. So why not look at the positives? We're still top of the league. We're top of the league on merit. It's not as if we're there by luck. And as I say, it's good to critique because it gets your frustration out. But for goodness sake, let's critique properly instead of being negative all the time. I mean, God's sake, some of the stuff, I'm even going to repeat some of the stuff I'm reading about Goldson because he's no signed a new contract and all that, get rid of him and sell him and all that. Look, if he goes, he goes. You're the biggest one that says on here at Oxshire, look, if a guy doesn't want to be there, then let him go. Plain and simple. But until that time comes, he's your player. So let's get behind him. Get behind him.
Well, contracts are contracts. Southside, I'm struggling with this for a bad side. We've lost one league game in 56, mate. Maybe the best run of form any I've ever seen of a group of players ever in the top flight.
But these stats, mate, it is, without question, I don't do much social media, mate, so I don't see a lot of negativity, Mm-hmm. I don't honestly see, but as you were talking about one defeat, it's phenomenal, that record, mate. I've said it, mate. We're always a hard support to please. But even when we're winning, we'll still try and pick something because I think it's just the fact that we want perfection in our team. That's what we expect, but you don't always get it. We've said on here, same with Goldson. No, my favourite, mate. You know that. He's never been my favourite, but I've never really come on here and slaughtered him. If I've come on and said things about him, I've been trying to be constructive on it. I've already said what Jimmy's saying. Jimmy, if you're saying people are saying get rid of him, right? I said on here probably a month ago, 6 weeks ago, when I said he was probably working his ticket. I says, but for the big picture, I would probably keep him if we can and don't sell him in January. If he's playing all right, I would play him because the big picture is the league. And if you look at the difference in Bassey, I know it's maybe hard because you're picking a game, but you can only base it on game to game. Bassey's looked a bit better with Goldson beside him because he talks to players, he tries to lead, and I think with him and Balogun, I'm not saying Balogun didn't talk him through it, but just think he's looked a bit more assured beside Goldson in the games that he's played in it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of his attributes, that he can lead and encourage people, even although he's always a mistake or two in him and he's been a bit off lately. But I think for the big picture for us, we need to win this league. And people could say, well, we could go in and just dismantle that whole defence and bring in new players. But if he's playing all right and there's no movement in January, then I would keep him to the end of the season, in my opinion, if he's playing well, because it's been the backbone of our team with McGregor, him, Davis and Alfie. That was the spine of our team right through. So I think if he's playing all right and we're not conceding goals and he's not making the right RC sale, then we keep him if possible.
Is it a social media phenomenal, JFK? Because look, I was talking to Fox. You know what he's like. He's always got new women on the go. And I said, describe this latest one. He says, looks like Holly Willoughby, can move like Nadia Comaneci and cooks like Fanny Craddock. So people are always looking for perfection now, aren't they?
Well, that is perfection, isn't it? Look, some of the stuff I'm reading. No, get rid of Goldson and bring back Katic. I don't know where that's coming from. I wouldn't be bringing Katic back. I think Katic's time has came and went now. For me, it's got to be in that centre. It's got to be.
You can't get rid of Goldson. Well, you can get rid of him if he signs with somebody and you come to a deal with him. But at the moment, he can't sign for anybody. No,
exactly. So my middle two, my two in the middle there in the back, would for me was always going to be Goldson and Hollander. When Hollander gets fit again, So the Katic thing for me, Disney wash. I'm no buying into that. Goldson's a Rangers player, and let's hope he's still a Rangers player come the start of next season, or even after January, and we'll see what happens. But too many people are too negative. I know there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there, and I know Southside said he doesn't do anything about the social media and that, but I'm on different forums and Rangers forums, and some of it is really, really, really negative, and it's easy to criticise players, but some of the criticism is quite sad to read it. You're like, what age are you? Are you a Wayne or are you an adult? And exactly that's the way I'm looking at it. Come on, get a grip here.
I think constructive is all right. Listen, just changing the mood slightly to use two lads. We started up a petition to get Jim Forrest into the Hall of Fame, Southside.
Aye, a great gesture. I think it's something that's long overdue. Remember my dad talking about Jim Forrest, and said he was a wonderful player, and it's similar to what Big Stevie said the other night when he's doing his da, and he used to go on about Ali McCoist, and I used to say the same thing about Ali McCoist, and my dad would go, couldn't he lace Jim Forrest, Ralphie Brand or Jimmy Miller's boots, McCoist, but Jim Forrest, he's been overlooked. I think we all know the reasons possibly why. And it's time that hopefully Rangers will do the right thing, mate, and get him inducted, especially in this year, 150th anniversary as well.
So we'll post on our links in social media, and we'll post them on the forums, we'll post them in the lobby. If you feel you want to support, get the petition signed. Yeah, JFK.
Yeah. Jim Forrest left the season after I started to go and see the Gers. Good player, scored a lot of goals for Rangers. But when he left, his career just took a downward spiral. If I remember, I think he went to... I know he played for the Sheep.
Preston, Jimmy.
He went to Preston, mate. And then I think he went into South Africa and Hong Kong as well, if I can remember. Places like that. So his career just dive-bombed after he left Rangers. But I saw him in his last season. The last season. I think 61, 62 he signed for Rangers. And he left in the 67, 68 season.
He went to Preston. And then
they go to Preston, aye.
It was Aberdeen for 5 years with 128 league games, mate. This is just league games. He scored 44 goals, but his prolific time for scoring goals was with the Rangers, mate, yeah.
I think he scored about 90 goals with Rangers in his time there, didn't he?
No, he scored 146 goals in 166 games.
I'm talking about in the league.
I think it was about 83 or something like that.
All right.
Stats in front
all round, I think he was over 100 goals for all competitions, aye.
146 goals.
Oh, well, that's phenomenal. I mean, there's players nowadays that can't score, and they're playing more games nowadays. For a 5-year career at Rangers, that's a phenomenal amount of goals. Aye, should be in the Hall of Fame, mate.
Get it signed, get it shared, get your friends and family, get it signed, and then we'll send it. Once we get to the 1,000, we'll send it to the club. And some of the messages of support on the petition, just take a time to read it. He's getting a lot of support and genuine support for people, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, surprising thing as well, see, once he broke into the team, he was never a substitute. Looking at it, was never a substitute. He was never booked.
I don't think there was subs then, was there? In the early 60s.
I think his subs come into being about 70, 71, 71, I'm sure. My memory serves me right.
Never booked. He was never booked or ever sent off as well.
Aye. But neither was John Gregg, never booked. It was a different game then, wasn't it?
Of course it was. Aye, some of the things I see in news absolutely it's hilarious.
Aye, well, we mentioned that. What about that? What about the cheating? And what about the trying to do that to professional footballers once again? The guys come in, maybe they play a different game, dive in the Far East. But I just can't believe how much cheating I'm watching, and the fact that the media have not picked up on it. It's just ridiculous. He's trying to get fellow professionals booked and sent off, and I'll say it, and I don't care who hears, listens, or whatever. He's cheating.
He's cheating. And the fact they've been one of our players, especially Alfie, we know they've been aware every media.
It'd been brought up in Parliament, mate. Parliament.
Absolutely disgusting. But at the end of the day, we've always said on here, especially on Rangers Radio, it's what we do. Look, we keep winning, they're still on our coattails. That's all we need to worry about. And I'll take a Bridgeman tomorrow. If it has to come to that. As long as we win tomorrow and put pressure on them for the following day and let them play catch up, that's all I'm worrying about. Keep winning Oxchair. Keep winning, and let them worry about what they want to do. And let's see what the media say once. We'll eventually catch up with them. Mm-hmm. The Furuhashi guy will eventually catch up with him. It's got to be, something's got to be done sooner rather than later. But let's concentrate on what we do. We keep winning, there'll no catches.
Yeah. 1965, I think, in Britain, mate. I don't know if that's Scottish football, but it was in England, the first substitute. All right. Southside. All right. Listen, you two gentlemen, get yourselves on mute, and we'll hear from the manager if that's all right with you two, and then we'll open the phone lines. Yeah.
Right, mate.
Yep. On you go.
Right, let's hear from the manager, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
We only have the injuries who are already injured, so no new injuries from the game from against Hips. So I have the same squad I can choose from last Wednesday.
In terms of the performances since you've arrived, it's noticeable that the defensive performances have been better. Was that a major focus when you first arrived?
Yeah, I think it starts from defending well. Of course, you want to be very solid in defense, not only the defenders, but it starts from the striker. If you can avoid the goals against you, and we always create chances to score, so it will make the chance higher. We're going to win games. So, we only lost one goal against Livingston, and the other games we kept the 0. So for me, it's very important to keep the 0 in the games and try to score the goals.
Giovanni, it's good to hear there's no fresh injuries. I wanted to ask you about Ryan Jack. We've obviously not seen him for the last few games. Can we expect to see him involved tomorrow?
Yes, Ryan will be in the squad tomorrow. Of course, he haven't played a lot of games the last 6-7 months. So I know he's an important player of the squad. We want him back as soon as possible because he can give also good things to the playing squad. But of course, we know he's going to build up his minutes. But the next weeks, hopefully, I can give him some more minutes so he can be back to his full fitness.
And also, there's been lots of conflicting reports around Connor Goldson's contract, which has been ongoing for some time now. I just wanted to ask if there has been any developments there.
No. Spoke to Ross about it today. He's still talking with his agents, so nothing new things we have to say. Still on speaking terms with the agents, so we have to wait.
And has he been offered a new deal? Sorry.
I think they were talking. Of course, I saw reports he rejected the offer, but that is untrue. They're still talking, so hopefully we can have some more news in the coming weeks or months.
Thank you for the injury update. I wanted to touch on more specifically Leon Balogun. Is he close to a possible return at all?
Yes, Leon will train with the squad on Sunday. So we have to see his fitness in the coming days, but he's a player who we will have back really soon.
I wanted to touch on Namdi Offabor. We've not seen him since the summer, of course, a heart issue. But can you give us an update on his progress at all?
Yeah, well, he's still in the moment. He's still being tested, and they spoke with him when I arrived, and we just have to wait when you see the doctors and the results. We can go from there, but so far nothing is decided.
Annie, you touched on Connor and the fact that talks are ongoing with Ross Wilson. Have you had a chance to speak to the likes of Connor or any other players that are coming to the end of their deals?
Not yet. It's the first couple of weeks, so for me the most important thing was to know the squad, know the players, and of course, win games. For me, that was the most important thing. So I get to know the squad a lot better than when I arrived. And of course, in the coming days, weeks, I will also speak with the players about their futures. And so far I didn't, because my focus was 100% in winning the game. So far I didn't have time to speak with the players personally about their futures.
And looking at defence, you've already touched on the improvements there already, but with the shortages, have you been tempted to bring any of the players that are on loan back to the club?
Well, we have to see how it will develop the coming weeks. Of course, the transfer window will open. So we are discussing what has to be done, but so far nothing has decided yet in bringing some new players in defence.
Hi, Giovanni. I just wondered on the transfer window next month. You touched upon it there. Do you see it being a busy window for you in terms of players coming in or players going out?
Well, I don't know yet. I mean, it's a difficult one. Of course, as a coach, I've had many transfer windows. It's hard to predict what will happen. Because anything can happen. I know that, but. The most important thing is to be prepared in whatever comes, and that's where all the work will have to be done in now until the transfer window opens. But we'll see. It can go either way. But hopefully, at the end of the window, we have a better squad than when the transfer window opens, maybe.
Again, on Connor Goldson. You said about Ross Wilson being in dialogue with his agent. Are you optimistic that Connor will sign a new contract?
I don't have a clue because I'm here only for a couple of weeks. It's always, of course, the case when you have players going out of contract in the end of the season. But really, I don't have a clue what will happen. Maybe when I talk to Connor myself in the coming days, weeks, I have a more view on that. But. So far I don't have anything to say in that matter now.
Because of a couple of incidents in the last couple of days, do you find that, would you find VAR be helpful to be introduced to the Scottish game?
Yeah, I think I'm for VAR. I mean, because you can have situations in games where it's very difficult for the ref to see and to make decisions of. So VAR is there to help the ref, which is very important. And I'm from Holland. I think the VAR came from Holland. So it's fair to have the VAR for both sides really. And so I'm really for VAR next season.
And also continuing with the officiating, do you find that with the increased athleticism of the players over, say, the last 20 years, do you think it would be helpful if we introduced full-time officials in Scotland?
Well, the last time I played here was 2001. I played my last game, so I knew the refs then. Of course, now coming in, a couple of games. I know that the officials in Scotland aren't full time, but it's if you are a full time referee, or doesn't matter what job you have, you can fully concentrate it on your job. And that I think sometimes maybe it's not easy for refs because they have their normal jobs and then have to officiate games. So in an ideal world, of course, I think if you speak to the refs as well, they would be much better if they can have the full-time jobs, because they can do what they love. But for me, it's always better to have full-time officials.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yep. Southside.
Aye, touched on about everything there, the way he was questioned. VAR, referees, Ryan Jack, Namdi. I will not say his second name because I couldn't probably pronounce it. Jimmy's good at it. It's a good insight for the manager, mate, listening to him. The Ryan Jack one was interesting. Hopefully, by the sounds of it, he's going to try and introduce him with some minutes. a game time, so that would probably be positive for us going forward.
Yeah. Aye. I mean, and also good that we're not really getting any fresh injuries. Yeah.
Aye, it's good we've not picked up any fresh injuries, like you say. We also touched on the loan players and stuff that might come back or whatever. So aye, he was asked quite a lot of questions, mate, and he answered them as honestly as he could, I would expect,
Aye. I wouldn't expect GFK. I wouldn't expect Giovanni to be much involved in the negotiations. I wouldn't expect our previous manager to be involved in negotiations.
That's something. That's something that's been there before Gio came. They were quite a far bit down the line, so Gio's just in the door as well. I know we've played 3 games, but as usual, Rangers manager sits at the table up there and he deals with every question eloquently. Well, some of the questions I thought were quite silly. I expect him to answer silly questions like full-time referees and things like that. It's nothing to do with Rangers, just ask a Rangers question. But it's good that there's no injuries. I know you'll be looking for our teams later on. I can't see there being any change myself. It's good to hear him talk about Ryan Jack. Pleased about that. It'll be interesting to see if he gets a part of the game, because I don't think he'll start. So that'll be good. And that's good going forward. That's another new player. And obviously we're waiting on Big Hollander, which will not happen to probably after the new year anyway. But I sat and watched it today, and it was a good presser. As I say, apart from some of the questions I found quite strange. I think he's got his finger on the pulse, and he knows obviously what Rangers are all about, because he was there playing for us, and he's taken this to his heart, the same as we've taken him. So, yeah, pleased about that today, mate. And
he made an interesting comment. I don't know if you gentlemen picked up on it. We'll hopefully come out of the transfer window with a stronger squad than we've got getting into it, yeah?
Yeah, there's been a few players, a couple of Dutch players mentioned, a couple of guys for the Premiership, but we'll let that take care of itself. I don't know about you guys, but if we come out of this transfer window with the same squad, then I'd be happy. Right? I would like to add to it, but if we come out with the same squad we've got now, that's a good enough squad to win the Premiership. So it's about no losing players. If he's got players he's interested in, to bring them in, they've got to be quality that keeps the squad the way it's playing next year. No just to be a bit part player. And it was interesting. I listened to the shows during the week. Now, I'm not a big fan of Jermaine Defoe, and I know the gaffers included him now in his playing staff and taking him out of the coaching role and that. So I'd be interested to see how far he plays him. Will he start him in any games and that? So I can't see it myself, but I just thought I'd drop that one in. So look, if there's players to be brought in, it's got to be players for me, and I think you guys will be the same, that enhances the squad. No, just to bring it in like for no. It can't be that. I don't know if I'd want.
We use this term squad players. If we're bringing players in, Southside, if I'm honest, I want guys that's going to improve our first 11 now.
They need to hit the ground running straight away. We've got a squad there that is fit, and if you're bringing a player in and he's maybe not been playing for a while or whatever, and you're trying to put him in the team, whoever he signs, if he does sign somebody, then that's what I'm hoping for, that he can come in straight into that team and hit the ground running. It's a big season for us, and the league's the most important, and like Jimmy says, if we keep the same squad to the summer, then I'll not be disappointed with that. But if one or two get sold or go, then hopefully I imagine we'll have some targets anyway, mate, so I'll be going to get the target if he's available, but we'll see. It's a hard one to predict, mate. I heard like you said, we heard the wee snippet. It'll be interesting come January, because there will be a lot of speculation on some of our players, obviously.
I see that Andy Firth's been linked with Real Madrid. I don't know if he's picked that up, boys. Did he?
No, it certainly didn't pick that one. It's not that. We've got a lot of players out of contract come the summer.
Aye.
John McLaughlin's one, which was surprising me a little.
Aye.
But The rest of them, apart from a couple of young boys, you'd probably expect some of them to maybe be gone, you know.
There's a few are contracting. Obviously, Alan McGregor, so Stephen Davis, you know. But as Ross Wilson said at the AGM, Southside, the older players will wait to near the end of the season before they sit down and they decide and we decide, you know. I think that makes sense, yeah.
Aye, it makes sense, but I'll be honest, I wouldn't be too fussed if Stephen Davis finished his end of the season and he's a league winner and probably a Scottish Cup winner.
Yeah,
I think it's probably we need to start moving on. It's another season, and you don't know whether they'll be able to keep going at that level. Alan McGregor's possibly the same, as much as I hate saying it, but we'll probably have to replace him. You know, he's done his a great turn in the time he's been at the club. I think maybe this could be his last season. Balogun's the same in that, mate. He's sitting on a year's contract. So, I think we've got to evolve. We've got to bring in some freshness, fresh legs, young players. So, provide us with a lot of energy. I think that's the way Gio's going to have the team playing. So, as sad as it'll be when they leave us, mate, but hopefully at the end of the season they'll leave us with a league and a Scottish Cup, mate.
Yeah. I think you make that decision, and you're right, stands the time and all that, but if you'd asked me, last Monday, Alan McGregor, I would say, time to go, but the last 3 games, Jeff.
Aye, of course, you know, and only 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was getting lambasted, you know, but, I mean, the last 3 games he's been superb, especially the double save, hands and feet, absolutely wonderful, you know, and it'll be sad to see him go. I think the Sands are timer against him. I'm with Southside there. I'm concerned about McLaughlin, just a small bit, but I'm sure something's happening behind the scenes. I'm hoping that he's actually going to be our next number 1, you know, because I don't think that young McCrory's ready for that step up yet. I know he played against the Beggars. I think we protected him well that day. But for me, John McLaughlin is just a step into Big Alan's shirt, because I don't see any goalkeeper unless Gio pulls something out the hat and he pulls somebody for his country. But we'll just need to wait and see. But Stephen Davis, I know, Sir Stephen as we all call him here, I think his time has come. End of the season, I think he will decide that it's time to retire, and whatever he decides today, hopefully Her Majesty gives him the knighthood that he richly deserves.
Yeah. You know my thoughts. I genuinely believe there should be a testimonial played at our stadium for Stephen Davis to celebrate what he's done in football.
Yep,
I genuinely believe that. And for me, it would be a Rangers select versus a Northern Ireland select.
Tremendous.
That'd be good to go along and see, mate. I've heard you say that many a time on the show, so that'd be good. Never know, mate. He might play another season for us, you know, but it's just, my own opinion is, he's done as well, and the players have served it as well, and I'm the same with Alan. I know he's been outstanding the last 3 games, and a couple of weeks ago you were picking faults. He was a wee bit slow down, should have maybe covered his near post and that, but I think in time we've got to look to get freshness and just look for newness in our team, you know. And if they're there the following season and they're getting a crack at the Champions League, that's fair enough with me. But I just think, in my opinion, I think it'd be time, it'd be fitting if we tour and bowed it at the end of the season, and if we had freshness available to bring in. And I agree with you, mate, about John McLaughlin. I think he's a bit better than McCrory. So unless he's bringing somebody in, I'd like to have thought we might have tied him down in something, Jimmy, just to make sure, you know, we were covered. Unless they see McCrory as the way forward, mate, and, you know.
And John McLaughlin's got a funny decision, isn't he? He'll be sitting there saying, well, do I sign? If Alan McGregor signs, am I going to be playing second fiddle for another year? No. So he's maybe, you've got to look after yourself sometimes, ain't you?
Well, that's true. I mean, he's for all the performances he's put in for us have been very good.
Aye, I agree.
It's going to be a hard one for him, you know, as you say. If Alan signs another contract, a 1-year extension, then he's got to think, well, no, I've got my own future to think about. So let's hope we don't make a mess of that, and let's hope we do the right thing. And no disrespect to Alan, just I think we all say that he's pulled off some great saves, but I think the sands of time, as we keep saying, I think are against him, and it's maybe time to hang the goalie gloves up and give somebody else a go at it. But I'm hoping it's no McCrory. No, that I don't think he's going to be a good Rangers goalkeeper. I just don't think it's time for him now. I think it has to be somebody else.
All right, we're talking about time for now. Come on, give us a phone in 0141 356 1972. I bet these lines would have been mobs outside if we wouldn't have won the other night.
Aye, mate. Aye, 100%. They've noticed that when we're winning, it's quite quiet sometimes, but certainly if we get a poor result or we draw, it can be chaos sometimes, I
put myself out there last night. My team was pretty much, I pushed the fullbacks forward. It was pretty much a 2-8. I was going out for goals, so you two have obviously been thinking about it. So JFK, what's your team for tomorrow?
Same as we play the spoon burners, mate. Go over that 4-2-3-1. It's Tavernier, Golson, Bassey, Barisic, Davis and Kamara in that middle bit, and then just in front of them, Hadji, Aribo and Kent, and then Alfie up front. I wouldn't change it. Familiarity, I know sometimes can breed contempt, but I think continuity.
Okay.
We won the game, play it on, play the same team.
Mine was a 4-1-3-2 GS.
4-1-3-2.
I would stick with McGregor in the same back four.
Yep.
I'd go Kamara.
Yep.
Arfield. And Aribo. Up front. Kent, Alfie, and Hadji.
Right. Mm-hmm. I know you were out last night, so my team for against Dundee at Ibrox we all had the same back five, yeah? I had Kamara sitting in front. In front of them, I had Kent, Aribo, and right, and then I had Sakala and Morelos up top.
All right.
It's a good team.
It's Dundee at Ibrox.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, you mentioned that I think he's a player, do you think Wright's got a future at Ibrox? You put him in your team there. When's the last time we've seen him?
He's not been great. I think he's more suited. I don't think we've been fair to the boy Hadji. I don't think that position out wide suits him.
No.
Yeah? I think if he's playing, he's got to be playing in the middle where he can go both ways and use both his feet. We all know he's no blessed with pace, and pace gets shown up right in the wings, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so he can play inside, and if he was playing, play inside for me. And I don't think he's going to get in front of Aribo at the moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could take Alfie or Sakala out and play him sitting up there, just playing sitting in the middle where he become, I think, more effective. So as much as I don't know if he's going to make the grade for us, I still don't think we've been fair to him Southside.
No, it's not the game time, Jimmy, lately, has he? So,
no.
You know, but I think...
Sorry, I never answered your question there, TFK, about Scott Wright. I put him in because just the pace both sides, literally the pace both sides.
And that's the attribute that he's got, Ox, you know, with Sakala, Kent, and we've got Wright that have got a bit of pace. And I can see, I think they're playing him on the right. I think Jimmy, if he gets his chance, and he might get a chance. The more you know,
I do rate him Southside. I think he's a cracking player. I know he didn't show a lot when we played the Sheep, you know, but since he came to Ibrox, he had a few cameos, and he got a wee run in the team for 3 or 4 games, and he was playing no bad. And I do rate him, and it is a shame. And the only reason I'm not including him because the managers haven't been. I mean, even sometimes he's not been on the bench. So, if he plays them all, brilliant, excellent stuff. But for I don't see it myself. I just don't think the manager. Most of the don't know if he's keen on him or whatever, but obviously the previous manager wasn't keen on him for a certain while. So we'll just need to wait and see. How far away is Hollander, by the way? Is it quite a distance away if we've been even training?
I've not heard anything being on the grass, as they call it.
No.
You know.
Aye.
You know, I get reports about people being on the grass every week, and sometimes Fox's name's in it, but that's a different story. No, I've not heard about him being there yet, but hopefully, maybe by February, and he's back fit for, if you like, the run in Southside.
Aye, he makes a big difference to your defence. I think what you're saying, Jimmy, when you like sort of somebody, when you like Kent out wide left, and I think if Wright gets a chance, he'll play him wide out right, and it might suit him, you know.
Well, I hope so, mate.
If he gets the chance, you know, because at the end of the day, whoever comes in, we want him to do well, you know. But I think he's just sort of, he seemed to have best picked the team the way he sort of stuck to it now, and he's had you out wide right, like you say. Isn't blessed with a lot of pace out there. So he's got to sort of come inside, but I think they're going to play 5-4 in it tomorrow. So maybe Hadji, I think, might get in the team just because he might be able to put that pass through, or get him on the ball centrally, and he can go left or right and get a dig. But time will tell. Same with Lundstrom, Jimmy. Lundstrom was playing quite well for a few weeks there, and obviously Gerrard didn't pick him again, and then obviously Gio's come in, and he's not had a sniff since, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it is now. They'll just have to bide their time, but hopefully it'll make them keen when they get in. Scotty Arfield come back and took a chance, you know, and got to sell the score sheet and change the game on Wednesday night. So you've just got to hope when they two get a chance, mate, or whoever else, Sakala, they do the same.
Aye, we've got a good squad of players. We know that, you know, the few injuries. And I said earlier, it's pleasing to see that Ryan Jack's going to be included in the squad tomorrow. He's a midfield battler, I think we're missing. I wanted him to be that player, and it all would depend on what injuries he takes going forward, because we need somebody like that in the midfield who's going to battle and do all the dirty work in that middle of the park, and we don't have anybody. I suppose Lundstrom could be that type of player as well, but if he's not getting a game, we would just need to wait and see how going forward what the manager type of teams. I like this 4-2-3-1. The way he's playing it, obviously it becomes it.
What about my 4-1-3-2?
Well, that's a good one, isn't it? But that's a
put bums in seats, total football.
It's progressive football, mate. No, that's what we're wanting to see, you know. And the gaffer's got good ideas. Again, he's changing the game in game time, which the previous manager didn't do. It was all like for like. But the manager's looking at the game, and he's in the game time. He's seeing where things can be adjusted and tweaked, and he's doing that. You know, so although it was a scrappy game on Wednesday, I would still go with the starting 11 that started on Wednesday for tomorrow. But obviously, unlike the previous guy, I think Gio will be going for continuity, and I've got a feeling I'll pick the same team.
All right. I get that rationale. People have said it forever. Southside, you don't change a winning team, eh?
I think Stevie Davis's legs looked a wee bit heavy on Wednesday. Yeah. You know, and I'd be surprised if he picks him against Dundee, if I'm honest. That's why I left him out. Probably, I mean, you could I think in time, if Ryan Jack, this is just my opinion, if Ryan Jack gets himself fit, and it could be a few months back, but going forward, I think if Ryan Jack gets back to being totally fit, I think he's a central midfield player, unless Giovanni goes and buys somebody who he sees better. But if he sticks to roughly the squad, I see him being the central midfield player, and if he plays a 2 in there, he'll definitely be one when he's fully fit and firing. That's just my opinion. But he's got good options into the way we've got the squad, and Sakala could probably feel he's a wee bit unlucky not to be starting or getting a chance, because he was going to come on and then he changed it and brought Lundstrom on. So there'll be a few champion to get in the team, mate. So probably between the next 2 games, we'll probably get a chance to get a few of them on the park, hoping that the way Giovanni will see to get some of them game time.
Yeah. I will see, but Ibrox tomorrow, 3 points, good performance, goals, JFK, goals.
Oh, but look, I mean, they're doing there. You know, I know they got a good result midweek, but look, at Ibrox, and we should be beating these teams 3 and 4 and 5-0. You know, and that's what I'm wanting to see tomorrow. I'm actually going to push a boat out for tomorrow, and I'm going to go for a handful tomorrow. I'm going for a 5-0, mate.
Oof, I'd take that. For the phone call for Mr. Bridgeman, and he's gone for 1-0 Southside.
Really?
I'd like 5, Jimmy, or more, but
Aye.
I'd probably because of the run of games we've had in the schedule we've had, you make sure first and foremost you get a win. I think we could maybe be good enough to get 3 tomorrow, and I'd be happy with that. Yeah. But the most important thing is a win, I
was talking to a friend today. Ask you guys this: do you think his team selection tomorrow will have any bearing on the Leon game in midweek?
Nope.
Nah, me neither.
No.
Tomorrow's a bigger game.
But I tell you, you read my mind. That's what I'd say to my part. I say, nah, look, we've qualified. No. So let's not be taking any good and win the bread and butter game tomorrow. Obviously, we don't want to get roasted on Thursday night away at Leon, but tomorrow's a bigger game. So for me, I'd go with the best team you can tomorrow, and then maybe tweak it on Thursday.
Arguably, our next 3 games, the Leon one's the least important.
Yeah.
I'd love to go and get a result for the club, for the directors, and get the revenue. But in the big picture, I think if we could beat Dundee and Hearts, we'd be delighted. Southside.
Aye, that's what we're looking at. It's a free hit on Thursday, Jimmy. Anyway,
aye, that's what I think, mate. Aye.
Although we've got limited sort of players. Well, obviously, if you thought you could have maybe went, well, do we bring Simpson and give him a bit of game time just because you could, but he's not in the squad and stuff like that. So Bassey will get game time, obviously, because in the defence will probably stay similar unless Balogun makes it back. But he doesn't really have to risk Balogun in that game, So you might see Patterson might even get a wee bit of game time, So aye, it's at least one Hearts after Dundee. And the next league game after that's the most important for us, certainly.
All right. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yes, come and join us. Give us your thoughts on anything Rangers related. These 2 guys, it's worth. They'll take any questions. I think Southside's doing domestics, and JFK, any DIY problems you've got, he'll sort that out for you.
I was looking at the upcoming fixtures this morning. And we were talking. Obviously, the Leon's a free hit, and then we've got the Hearts. But then we've got 3 home games before we play the Sheep.
Aye, I'm looking to go on the run now.
So I mean. We beat the Watery Farts, and then we've got St Johnstone, Dundee United on a Wednesday night, and on is it a Wednesday? No, is it? Can't remember. I looked at it today, but I know it's St Johnstone, Dundee United, and then Boxing Day St Mirren before we play the Sheep. The last game of the year before we play the Beggars at Smellick Park.
Hearts next weekend, then the following weekend, I think is it Dundee United? Yeah.
I'll be playing St Johnstone midweek.
The weekend before that, I think. Or is it the weekend?
No, we play St Johnstone the Wednesday.
Before Christmas.
Aye, here. We play Hearts on the 12th, St Johnstone at Ibrox on the Wednesday, and then we play on the Saturday against Dundee United at Ibrox. And then we play in Boxing Day at Ibrox against St Mirren before we play the Sheep on the 29th of December.
3 games that we should win at Ibrox. I know it doesn't always work like that Southside, but once we get the Hearts one out of the way, we should look to win. Maybe go on a run now.
Aye, 100%. I know you don't win games on paper when you look at the teams, but we're at home. And once we get Hearts out the road, which I'll expect us today, I don't think Hearts we're good enough to go there and beat them. It's just to keep winning, mate, and get that run up to we play the Sheep away. And I think that's a Wednesday night. I think.
Aye.
So that's what we're looking for, mate. Just take the wins off, and obviously we start tomorrow with Dundee. That's the most important game. That's the next one. But it's good to get a wee run of home fixtures. Like I said, I'd said it earlier, get these games won and then have a look at the table, see where it takes us, see what's behind us, And then we know what we've got today after that. We come back after that break, once we've battered them up there at the San Jairo. So, aye, something to look forward to, mate. And we should all be happy that we've got a wee run of home fixtures, and it's certainly 9 points we're looking for. And obviously starting on R3 tomorrow.
Good here.
Here, mate. Here. That's what these are games we need to win. This is it's starting to the excitement's beginning to build. GFK.
Oh, aye, it is, mate. This is a great time of the year. The Christmas calendar. Coming in and the games are all crammed into about 7 or 8 days. So, I'm excited. And as Southside said, going to the San Jairo on the 2nd of January should be good. And let's come away there without a defeat. I don't get me wrong, we want to win, but I'd come away there with a draw. As long as we don't give them any inclination of getting any sort of win. But look, they'll drop points before the end of the year, I know, because they're absolutely rank rotten. And the Hearts are no any great shakes as well. I've said before, look, Hearts are playing to their potential now, and we aren't, and we're getting results. I think we'll do Hearts at Tynecastle, but having that run of 3 home games in the league is going to. I think that'll be the catalyst for us for going to the San Jairo, mate. Definitely.
Aye, I get where you're coming from, but to coin a wise man, Southside tomorrow's the most important game.
Sure is, mate. It sure is. It's just all about making sure no mistakes tomorrow. Keep the defence the way it was. It was good to get a clean sheet against Hibs, and then just go out attack, and hopefully we'll get a couple of goals in the first half, mate. We've got to start stamping our authority at home, and we're on a good wee run. So we've got nothing to fear for Dundee. I don't think it beats us as attitude and application tomorrow, mate. That's what beats us. If we're not on it, that's how we'll drop something that we could cost a defeat. So it's about attitude, and I'm sure they know what's at stake, mate. And the manager is just in the door, and they're all starting to follow his ideas. You can see a few of them I think there's a couple of Big Borners looked a wee bit better at times, bombing down the wing, although he's not been down as far as often. But when he does, he's looked a lot more mobile than they had seen him in the last number of weeks, and the same on the right side with Tav. So, it's all positives, mate. And there's no fear tomorrow. We should be taking at least 2, 3, 4 after him tomorrow. Easy.
Aye, but football's not played in grass, GFK.
Nah, look, we're playing at our place.
It's not played in grass, it's not played in paper, sorry.
I was wondering. Look, it's the wide expanse of Ibrox Park, and we should be able to beat that team quite comfortably. And it's all right saying that, but it's what happens on the days South was saying there. We need to go out and perform. Let's hope we thumbheads there to keep our horns warm and shouting ball at him. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I think we're very capable of putting a few against a team like this. And I want an Alfie hat trick. I just think he's fallen into the old ways again, having to keep coming in deep again for the ball, and then getting out in the wing and look. Stay where you are. You proved it against Sparta. What kind of player you can be, and we all know he is. But I want him to score. I want him to start banging the goals in, and tomorrow will be a good day for him to do it, because Sakala's breathing down his neck. There's going to come a time when the gaffer's going to say, I'm going to drop him. He's my number one striker, and he's got to start putting the ball in the back of the net. But it doesn't matter who scores at the end of the day, as long as we win. And that's what matters. But I'm still going. I'm going to stick my neck out and still say we'll score 5 tomorrow.
Oh, you're right. That'll do me, mate. Yeah, especially if we play my forward-thinking formation, GFK.
Well, maybe give you a phone later on and see if he's interested in listening to that. Well, there you go.
After the press up.
Well, he listens to people like yourself, mate. He's
go back a long way, me and Giovanni.
Aye, definitely, mate. A few sherries in the Rosevale and Stumps there.
He's a man of distinction.
Definitely.
Yes. But aye, well, I'm looking forward to it. We're interested to see the team selection, what he does. Is he going to go freshen it up, or is he waiting till Leon, or is he just try to get to January, have a team of consistent? Does he think that if you're playing well, you stay in the team, whereas sometimes the previous regime Southside were criticised for changes, yeah?
Aye, mate. And, well, we did say, Vince used to say if you get the jersey, you usually keep it. But then, like you said, he'd make 4 or 5 changes the following game or the game after. So I've liked the continuity, mate, the way he's done it. And to be honest, he's not a chance to really look at the full system and the team. You know, going forward it will change. But the new he's working with the team the way he's seen it since he's come in, and he's working with them on training, and at the moment he's getting a response for them. So, aye, mate, hopefully when he does make the odd change, like we say, the players will be hungry to come in and try and stake a claim to stay in the team. So we Arfield's managed to do it when he get brought back in the team. So I'm sure there's others like we spoke about, Lundstrom, Sakala and Scott Wright, to name but 3, that'll be looking to try and get their way into that team, you know.
Talking about people who are always trying to get into their team, I've been joined by Jimfrey Paisley.
I wish you told me the boss. I wish I knew the boss was on the Hawks chair.
You must have got around.
Happened, James? What happened to you? A bit embarrassed, did you?
Yeah. I was daily ordering a taxi. just to get out it.
Did the boss give you a hard time, James? Did she?
No, I didn't a hard time. It's just unusual. The folk is usually he's usually different.
Yes, very different.
And where are you from? And I think there are too many questions. Anyway, I love her dearly.
She's very efficient, eh?
Very, absolutely. I was supposed to plot here. I may have to make my stay short. Remember, I was listening to the show, and fantastic show.
You got to hang up before then so you can speak to the boss again. Is that what
No.
Right, what's on your mind, mate? Or have you lost the
plot? No, it's nice when they're listening to Southside and JFK there. You know, we're talking about different things. I've lost the plot, actually. I'm just upset. No, we're talking about that. You know, the last season was our biggest season, right? We did the business, didn't we? Big time. We stopped at 10. We got the 55. This is our next biggest season. This is the Klondike season next year. We have to get through this season. Well, we know we've got to win the league. And I was listening to JFK and Southside talking about the player pool. Now, I was wondering, can we do something in January, just to steady the ship, to make sure we get through this season, just to make sure we get on our road again? Because I think we can realise it's not really happening this season next year. I know it's JFK and Southside again, but it's stuttering and starting with the last season, and then Connor Golson. I think I spoke about that song I was on. We've got a player pool there. I think JFK mentioned it earlier on. JFK, we are doing a player pool there, right? We have a player pool there, and there's umpteen players there. They haven't really had their chance, you know. Maybe they've not had the opportunity to show what they've got. And I was just wondering.
I'll tell you what, Jimfrey Paisley, you take this opportunity. You hold what you've got. Go on mute, because we're going to have a tune.
Cool.
Every Saturday we follow, we cheer the boys in blue, the most successful team in football. We're Scotland's gallant few, though at times they have been hard, we've followed near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands in Ibrox Park. successful team in football. Well, Scotland's gallant few, whose times they have been hard, will follow near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands at Ibrox Park. Whoa.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
What a powerful number that is, isn't it?
Yep.
Brilliant tune.
Aye. Okay, Jim. Floor's yours, mate. He's away phoning the boss again. Right, we've seen a lost Jim for Paisley JFK.
Right. I know he's wanting to phone back in again. That's what it is.
I know. It's a trend we're getting. It's a trend we're getting. I think he was in bits there, south side, eh?
Aye, he was a wee bit of stuttering in that one. It was no like Jim.
Hey, Don, here.
There he's there.
I did something to deal with there. I put you on mute there while the tune was going there. Because I'm at work there, I'm just playing it by ear here tonight. It's nice to speak to you though, anyway. What else can I help you with?
You don't get an idea of this show yet. You phone up and ask us the questions.
No, but you know, the thing I was going, was on my mind.
Right.
I think I did mention it, but I've not mentioned it again. I repeat myself. We've got a pool of players there. I think there's about four. I would suggest about 3 or 4 players that haven't had their opportunity properly. And I was wondering about them for Saturday, because last night, see Saturday at 3 o'clock.
Who you thinking about? You thinking about? I would say obviously Patterson. You'd maybe get Scott Wright, Sakala,
Lundstrom,
maybe. There's 4. Is that who you're talking about?
These are the players. These are the players we brought in recently. Also, you know. Well, and I just wonder was there a chance for them, because if they're not going to be staying there, if they're not in the plans, the manager's plans, you've got to try them out surely in games like this. Listen, we're playing Dundee tomorrow, innit? Look forward to it. And I like the GFK, the 5-card trick. There we go for that. Tomorrow too, GFK.
Aye, definitely, mate. Definitely.
Right, okay, aye, the French players. It's a thought, but Kuna as well. Southside.
Nah, not too many of them tomorrow for me. Still in Albion, we've got them in a week or two if we know.
Yeah,
we play them against them. No, play some of them and give them some game time. But nah, stick to the squad that we've got now that we've been playing. It's too important. No, this league flag's the one we need. We're getting into that Champions League. We're not getting that away, you know. So, nah, no for me. No too many changes anyway.
KFK?
Nah, I'd agree with that. But Southside said there, I'm all for continuity. You know I can agree with Southside saying there about Stephen Davis. He looked a bit jaded and tired and that. But if he puts Arfield in there, I'd be happy with that as well. But I'd like continuity, and the Stirling Albion game's a perfect game to give some of the players like Bakuna and things like that a run out. Although I would like to see Wright getting a start, but I don't think that's going to happen. Patterson's the only concern for me going forward, is that if we can keep him or no. That's my though. I want to see him being our stalwart. I'd like to see him be the next Rangers captain. I'm hoping that comes to fruition. But as muchness for me, same team as long as they're all fit going forward. A wee tweak here and there if it needs to through injury, and still an Albion with the game for experimenting. Because realistically, we should be able to go and beat the B team. Should be able to go and beat Stirling Albion So, same team, bread and butter football is a league. We need to win this. The big prize at the end, not just Champions League. We all know what the prize is.
Right.
Yeah, GFK.
Right,
all right, sorry. I was just going to ask you. Oh, sorry. I don't know why, but JFK, or the same as you, Southside. See the Morris starting line up if he started with Arfield, Wright, and Fashion and whatever. But then there is an island, and John McLaughlin, just for talking's sake, just to make a conversation of it. If John McLaughlin's running goals and Arfield and Wright and Fashion, they all started, but then there is an island about that, really.
Maybe an eyebrow. Southside?
No, I missed what you said, Jim, to be honest. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm the one here, mate.
You weren't hanging on to his every word, Southside.
No, honestly, I got distracted for a minute there, honestly, and I just lost the plot.
Sorry, mate, I'm used to it.
I'm sorry, Jim. I deeply apologise. It's unprofessional, I know.
There seems to be a lot of people losing the plot tonight, and there's a common denominator.
I'm not repeating myself anyway.
Right, what you said is John McLaughlin played in goals, Arfield, Scott Wright, and Sakala started tomorrow. Would people say, "Wow, that's radical," or would they just take it in their stride, Southside?
No, Jim, I think that's you could put them in the team, mate. To be honest, Sakala, like we said earlier, Jim, I thought you'd probably count yourself a wee bit unlucky. He sort of started after scoring some goals and been quite effective for us in some games, but and obviously McLaughlin coming in. Aye, it's fair shout, Jim, with the players you've mentioned. It's not too radical. But Gio, I don't know. He seems to sort of stick to the current sort of team that he's been doing. But to be honest, Jim, they've played a lot of games in that short space of time, so we might possibly have to freshen it, possibly with 2 or 3 tomorrow. That we've not really thought about it, but you might have to.
All right, Jim, we're going to let you go, mate, because we've got somebody else coming in, but always great to hear from you, mate.
Yeah, thank God you're letting me go, because I'm a working. There's somebody coming through to speak to me just now. It was lovely to speak to you guys. Yes, fantastic show.
Cheers, mate. We've been joined by AK. How are we doing, Alex?
Good evening, Ox. Southside, JFK. How we doing, boys?
How you doing, Alex?
Good Friday night, eh? Listening to yous.
Yes. Did you
I've just finished that humble pie, pal, that you sent me a couple of weeks ago.
That was a big one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'll take it in the chin. Not a problem. You've been getting me back ever since, right enough, you and that bugger Andy for Leeds.
You better not mention chins, Andy will be on.
It's all in good spirit.
Right, I'm waiting with bated breath to see what team you put out tomorrow.
Lundstrom defence. Nah, I'm only kidding. Nah, listen, I just need to. I think Van Bronckhorst appears to be the manager totally opposite for Gerrard. I don't think he likes to mix his team up too often. It's about gaining the trust with the man, and he seems to trust the players that he seems to be picking now. The first 2 games, brilliant. Really pleased from result-wise, but for me on Wednesday, Southside, you were at the match. You couldn't have been too enamoured with watching that display. But I watched footage today. Somebody showing the penalty as Roof was taking it, and just seeing the celebration amongst that Rangers support just gave you a wee glow what supporting our club's all about. And I just hope it gets to home what the club means to your support. They travel in their numbers and they get behind the team, regardless of how we're playing or who he's picking or, nitpicking. Just get behind the team, give us a performance, give us the wins that we're looking for, and we'll back you 100%. It's a tough process to get through now because of the last few weeks, but we're still top, we're still hanging in there. We've got a big month ahead of us, but these players need to raise their game because if we play like that when we go to Tynecastle, Pittodrie, Celtic Park, I don't think we're getting away with a 1-0 win, guys. So I think we really need to raise our game now. This is a big month ahead of us.
Aye, but listen, obviously we've got to get them all out of the way first. Then we'll get obviously Leon, which is a free hit. Then Tynecastle becomes a massive game. Yeah. You know. Aye, listen. We've also been joined by. Well, no, he wasn't. He's not quite joined us yet. He was there, but aye. Well, I get what you're saying. We've not reached the heights, but we're winning. Southside.
Aye, you know, it's a massive season for us, Alex. Never mind a massive month, mate, isn't it? We know they do need to up their game. I think we're going to have, it's going to be 3 games a week. That's the way it's going, you know. So I think you will have to change a couple of players in time, Alex, and they'll hopefully when they come in, if it's like we said earlier, Sakala, Lundstrom, Wright, or Ryan Jack even gets some game time. But I think that'll only be maybe when we're coasting a game or two, you know. It's important, mate, that we just stride on in this league, and this is the most important time to stamp our authority on this league now, especially when we've got Hearts and Aberdeen and them, but we can worry about them come January. It's what we do between now and the last game against Aberdeen up there. So it's about just, aye, Alex, we need some good performances, mate, but see if we have to grind them some weeks, mate, we'll just have to accept it, you know. It's just about making sure we get the 3 points. But like you said, Wednesday night, that was one we grinded out, because being at the game, Alex, I was thinking going here, this is a costly 2 points we're going to drop here, you know. But then we managed to get a wee bit of magic, and Kent got us in the box, we get the penalty and we score. So that's how games change, as we say. Goals change games, mate. But I'm just want to be happy, mate, as long as we keep grinding out the 3 points. I'm not really worrying about performances. But I obviously want the team to try and play well and get some continuity together, you know.
Anyway, we've also been joined by Big Al. Evening, Big Al.
Can you hear me all right, gentlemen? I've left my earphones on my desk. I'm in esteemed company tonight, man. Can I speak to Iceland? And it's good to hear Michael Stewart back on the radio. Can I speak to Iceland for Paisley? Or is it Farm Foods?
He's both, mate. He shops at both. He's away, mate, but he shops at both.
Oh, is he? I was wondering if he does his house parties, if he does prawn cocktails, you know, with the sauce of 1,000 islands in it.
He does a lovely prawn ring.
Does he? I bet your ring's burning after you've ate it.
That's just for you, Katie.
Where is he, man? Is he back in jail?
No, he was on last night.
Oh, was he? Sorry, I've not been able to catch his man. Look, I thought the other night there that was a wonderful result. I would have loved to have been. Would have loved to have been the 97th minute penalty. That would have rubbed it right into them, like, but an 85th minute penalty will do me just fine. That's what it's all about. Did you see their tifo? Is that what a tifo, or was it just toilet paper they'd brought with them? That was the worst thing that one on that. There's a boy I work with. He's Aussie, but he's got a Chilean background, right into his football, like, and he's talking to me about Rangers. He's a Arsenal fan in the Premiership. He knows Sebastian. Well, I didn't know him, but he's Sebastian Rosenthal. I talked to him about football all the time, and he came up to me and says, "Alan, is that the tifo? Was that a tifo?" He says, "What does it say?" I says, I think it's meant to say Hibs." But he brought it up to me, like, and I seen that was a belter. That's sheer class, man. Honestly, God, that must have been deliberate, man. Must have been deliberate. But look, although we didn't play well, and I think Alex had been a wee bit disparaging there. The fans are always behind the team. You know what I mean? We'd love to see results, but as the right said, Fred said there, it's a result that matters. It's the 3 points. You know what I mean? It's the 3 points, like, and I'm happy for the 3 points. I think we'll get another 3 points.
If we can win our next 4 games and carry on and win our next 3 away games, I would think that'll be us heading towards a league title. That's how important this part of the season is. Bizarre.
Well, look, I think there's a bit of a cliche there, Ox. why we say it, the next game's the most important one. I think was it Bridget coined that phrase, and they're all important. It doesn't matter who we play against. Everyone's important for now to the end of the season.
To be fair, he coined it at Rock's Drift when he said the next one's the most important one.
Aye. But was it not the Battle of Balaclava? Was it? When
he was at that one and all, aye.
Aye. He was in the light horse brigade, wasn't he? I heard they had a winch with Florence Nightingale one night.
So it was definitely
came and gave him a bed bath. It was
definitely a Florence, but it wasn't a Nightingale.
It was enough. But no, look, the 3 points are essential, and especially with the changeover for the old guard to the new guard. I think he's done extremely well. I'm really happy.
It's been more than seamless.
It's been more than seamless, and that could have been a difficult thing for us. But it's not. It's transpired. It's been really good. So I'm really positive in regards to our team, the way the team's playing. Yeah, the football wasn't great, but we came away with 3 points. And we'd done what we had to do. We got the win. Ruth went up there and he smashed that. There was a bit of pressure there, and that's the calibre of player we've got as well. For to call on a player like that, he comes on the park and he puts it in the back of the net. There's a bit of pressure there, so I'm really, really happy with the team,
Aye. There's a lot of things to be positive about. We just have to get a bit of consistency in our play, JFK,
Yeah. Look, I'll let you go because I'm sitting in the car here. I'm scared in case the cops try and pull me. Right, you have a nice night. Keep up the good work, boys. All right.
I'll say good night to the boss.
No, no worries.
I'll say good night to the boss for you.
Oh, but that's what I meant to ask you. Does she have a fans only page?
No, big man.
I'll ask her next Friday. Right, take care. Take care. All the best. Thank you.
Australia, mate. Best place to date for.
How's Linda? Is she missing me?
No.
Nobody's missing you.
Oh, is that the Marbella? Is that the Marbella belly? You take care, Alex. It's always a pleasure to hear your dulcet tones, man. Big Jimmy. Right said Fred there. Take care, boys. All the best.
Big Al. Speak to you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, dear. I think we all got it there. We've been joined by Mark from Corby. Evening, Mark.
How you doing, Joe? All right?
All right, mate. Long time no hear. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. All good here.
Good, mate. What's on your mind?
No, just following up about the last few games. Have been quite decent, haven't they?
The results, performances, there's a lot of positives coming. No losing goals in where they were. 2 clean sheets. One in Europe, one away to Hibs. Lost a silly goal to Livingston, you could say. But 1 goal in 3 games we've lost. Southside.
Aye, Mark, if you look at the games for the European night, we came away with a victory, but we needed it was a pressure game for us to try and get into the last 32, and we accomplished it. And obviously going to Livingston, it's not often that we go to Livingston and we're 2 goals up inside 20-odd minutes, So, encouraging performances, mate. It's probably tiny steps, but if I'm honest, looked a bit ordinary at times against Hibs as well, but I just think it might have been a wee bit of tiredness creeping in as well because we'd played the same sort of players for the 3 games in a bounce. But it's a hard place to go. The surface didn't help on the Sunday against Livingston, and then obviously on the Wednesday night you're going to have a tough game at Hibs, and we grinded it out, mate. So the positive thing is we only conceded 1 goal and we've won the 3 games,
Yeah, I was at the Livingston game myself as well, and it was cold as well as the snowball fights were right in the middle of that. But I was really impressed with the European night though. I thought we beat Sparta a bit easier than what I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to be in for a right tough night, but I thought it was a lot easier than what it should have been, I think.
The Sparta game, mate, aye. I thought it was a wee bit tougher, aye. Probably it was betting the goals at the right time, Mark, That's probably, Alfie took his goal well, and then obviously defenders tried to chip it across his box and we took advantage. And after that, the big thing about that was just getting that win, mate, and getting us into the last 32, And since then, it's been tiny steps, mate. I think that's my opinion. It's been tiny steps, but we're undefeated, so all mate continue, bud.
And you come, GFK, and you come.
I think the last 3 games have showed the mark that Gio's put on the team. You know, to answer Jim's question earlier on, I know he's no one. I mean, I would be quite shocked if the gaffer had changed it 3, 4, 5 players. I didn't like that when the previous gaffer done it. I know we always said he used to throw a curveball in, but continuity for me means a lot. And if the team is playing well enough to get results, you know, I know we're not playing at our potential, and we keep comparing to last season, but last season's gone. I'm all for keeping the same team. I know we've got a great group of players. You know, Offabor, we don't know what's happening with him, you know, because he's heart problems now. But Kent's due back. Hollander, I know we've got players out on loan, you know. But for me, stick with the team we've got.
You mean Jack?
Who did I say there, mate?
Kent.
Kent. So I keep, because we should be changing his name to Bobby or something. No, with Ryan Jack coming
believe
back.
that you like the Bobby, but that's another show.
Well, I don't know. Big Al said he was ready to get pulped with a Polish. I don't know what he meant by that.
Right. Where were we? Sorry, GFK, you threw me now.
Well, no, you can't throw it about that, mate. No. That's a giggle started. No, look, we know we haven't been playing. I mean, the Sparta game was a fantastic night. We've got the job done. Had to win by the 2 goals, and we've done that. And the game against the Spoonburners was a hard game, you know, and there was a lot of people expecting us, and they still do expect us to fall in our face because we lost that manager, and we've got the new manager, Gio, in. So let's people calm down, and we'll win this league this season. The next 4 or 5 games will determine. I think by the turn of the year, and I know we shouldn't live in ifs and buts and maybes, we go winning every game which we're capable of doing and beat the Smellies at Smellick Park, then the league's yours, mate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. But we've got to start winning tomorrow, Mark, then Alec.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm the same. I wouldn't change too much. But the only thing that's, I think, affecting a balance at the minute and is, like I think you were saying earlier, Hadji's not really got the pace to be a winger. So I was saying to my son today, I said, I think I'd like to see Scott Wright coming in to maybe put a bit of balance on the wings. But at the same time, I wouldn't drop Hadji because he seems to be involved in a lot of our goals. Every time we score, Hadji's always involved somewhere. Do you know what I mean? But to get the balance on the left and the right, I think I'd give Scott Wright a game tomorrow, but I don't think he will. I think he'll kind of keep the same sort of team, maybe like what they were saying, bring Arfield in from the start, because he seems to have a big influence at the minute.
I don't think we would see Scotty much, but he's come back into the fold, Alex.
He has, yes. I think he likes the kind of Scottish connection. He has the connection with our club, you know. He brings that drive to midfield when the chips are down. You know, he'll kind of rally the troops a wee bit. I mean, his finish at Livingston there the weekend was fantastic. Tavernier picked him out with a brilliant ball, but his first control made it. So it was just a matter of lobbing the keeper. It was an absolute brilliant finish. And again, he turned to him when it wasn't going well at Easter Road. You know, we were kind of devoid a wee bit of ideas. I think he introduced Arfield just to give a wee G up for the team and a G up for the kind of support. And the changes worked, you know, because all of a sudden we were in their box a lot more often than what we had been. We won the penalty and we got the 3 points and returned to Ibrox safe. But I was wanting to touch on last night, if I could, Docs, about our man Chris Boyd calling out the corruption of the officials, or the potential corruption. He was sticking to his gun about, and good on you, Boydie. You know, we've had that for the last 10 years. You know, with Hartson and Sutton and Andy Walker, and some. But he was adamant, no, that is offside. You can't say anything other than that is offside. And the Tim Poison that we've had today has been hilarious because they're reacting to it. So good on you, Chris Boyd, for picking that up for what he is. You know, that was
You're either
shocking
pregnant or you're not.
Yes. And what about the soft-boiled eggs comment and all?
Funny.
Brilliant.
That was funny. He's turned into some man, Chris Boyd, didn't he? Turned into some man.
Class, man. It's good to have one of your guys on the panels, you know. We've had Graham Souness for years, but he mainly covers the English games. But Souness always tries to pipe in when the Rangers involved, Andy Gray as well. So the more we get guys on comms like that and calling them out for what they are, you know, to do that at Celtic Park as well, the look on Petrov's face was hilarious.
Fair play to Big Body. Fair play to Big Body. He's maybe getting more support for the Rangers fans now, Southside, than he did when he was scoring all the goals.
Aye, he was a good good penalty box scorer for us, mate, in his day. And didn't always get played in the big games sometimes, but he had some record when he played at Rangers, and he's certainly a blue nose.
JFK.
Yeah, it was a joy to watch. As I didn't watch the game, but I saw the 3.5 minute snippet that Boydie was sitting there with a big Cheshire cat grin, and the look on Petrov's face as if somebody slapped him with a smelly fish. It was brilliant, and he was adamant. It's never a goal. Never a goal. It was offside, and we need more Rangers men like that. I've said it before. I get banned for a couple of places before because I get tore into a couple of ex-Rangers players because others were quite happy to say we, this and us, but for some reason ex-Rangers players are reluctant when they go into these other shows, don't want to say a we and us. Yeah, they do it all the time. So Boydie, brilliant stuff, mate. I know you listen because Ox here told me.
Oh yes, he does listen. Mark?
Yeah, I heard the comments. They were actually really funny. I was chuckling away at it. I did actually watch that game. I didn't think much of either of the teams either. And the goal itself, when it happened, I was well offside. Well, I said that they ain't going to allow that. You're expecting the VAR to come in, but obviously Scottish football doesn't have it. But yeah, that was, how the hell they allowed that goal, I don't know. But Boydie's brilliant. Boydie's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I'm no one for putting stuff out there, but I think the linesman's got a bit of form.
Yeah, I've seen that today as well, yeah.
That's another story, but we'll get more information on that. Yes, make sure it's correct and check it out. Yeah. Right, okay. Tomorrow, big game. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's first league game at Ibrox, Southside, as manager.
Aye, I'm sure he'll be looking forward to it, mate. Been back at Ibrox for a league game. Obviously, it's the most important trophy we're going for, but I know he was there for the Sparta game and that, but it'll be good. A good day, hopefully. I'm just hoping that we're up for the game, mate. We've started quite quickly in games, so I'm hoping the tempo's high and we can get an early goal because that will help the atmosphere around the stadium. I know the UB boys will have the atmosphere going, but sometimes it can be a bit quiet around about the stadium. So it's this time of year, like Jimmy says, and hopefully we've got to try and cheer the team on a bit and hopefully they'll put on a performance for us. But aye, I'm sure Giovanni will be looking forward to it, mate, again, coming back to the stadium. He'll get used to it soon enough as it goes on. We've got another 3 home games, but tomorrow it's all about the 3 points, mate, and hopefully that's what we're going to get.
JFK. Oh. Aye, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst first game at Ibrox, 8K.
On mute.
On you
I'm
go.
off of mute, that's good.
Well done.
Aye, looking forward to it. Looking forward. I know I've been on that course, Bridgeman done. Comes in handy. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, the wife tells me you don't pronounce it Giovanni, it's Giovanni. So that one's for you, Southside, because you keep saying Golston when there's no a T in his name.
Golson. That's how I've been pronouncing it, Alex. Have you been on that course with Bridgeman as well? Hiding your money under the floorboards.
It's no just money he's got under the floorboards, but we'll not go there.
He's had to move house because he couldn't. He's had to move house because he couldn't shut his doors.
They need to be taken and taught how to talk. Say Rangers players' names. Tell you, with a character on here we're just going to name him Port Bear. You can't say James Tavernier.
It's Tavernier.
Tavernier. No, that's a pub, is it? No, a Tavernier. Oh dear.
But looking forward to the game tomorrow. This Dundee team, by the way, they're a wee bit of form, Mickey. Yeah, they've beat Motherwell and St Johnstone their last two games. You know, and they gave us a tough game up at Dens earlier in the year as well. We were kind of a wee bit fortunate to come away with a 1-0, if I remember right.
Worst performance of the season, mate.
I think Wednesday was right up there with it as well. But
I don't think it was a different type of game on Wednesday, and it was on the back of third game in 6 days. I don't know when people are going to start taking that into account. Yeah, the D game was. I know. You know,
but we're looking forward to it. Hopefully, the South Side said that it's about application and attitude. We come out with the right attitude, go after them early, get a couple of goals up, and who knows, we could come out with the 4 or 5 that JFK was wanting.
Mm-hmm. Aye, it's all about winning, Mark. Obviously, we want performances, but first and foremost, we want results, don't we?
Oh, definitely want results. And like one of the lads were just saying there, they have hit a little bit of form. Dundee, they've got a bit more solid, didn't they, in the last few weeks? And Charlie Adam apparently is on a good game with them, and I don't know if that other little rat's going to be playing either. I don't know if he's fit or whether he's allowed to play, or if he does play, he'll be wanting to prove a point, won't he?
Well, I'm going to give him oxygen, mate, but that's another story.
Yeah. It's all about the 3 points.
Yes, Alex.
So I was just going to say that this is a bad time of year for the Thurn because there's a lot of children's parties on at this time of year, isn't there?
It's just when.
I think that's just died a death, that one, isn't it? Don't know who writes their scripts outside, do you?
I just think, Alex, we're at home. We're at home. We have no excuses. We've got to go out and get the 3 points. No, I'll say it earlier. It's about putting a run together now. The Europe on Thursday night next week's a free hit, you know. So I'm not worried about that. I'm just wanting us to cement 3 points in the league as we go forward, and we start them more, Alex, you know. And whoever plays, we just want them to go out there, try their heart out, don't cheat us. And if you have a bad game, we'll accept it. But just go out there and try your heart out for us and do your best. And that's all we ask for.
Aye. That's times we've questioned some of the players, Mark, about their maybe application. But since Giovanni's took charge, since after the semi-final, we can't complain, can we?
No, not really. We've got every available point we've got, haven't we? Since he's come in. Lost 1 goal. We are a hard crowd to please, but I don't think we can moan at all, really. It wouldn't, like you say, Wednesday's game was a tough, a different game. We had a point to prove. But in the end, we got there, and the most important thing was the 3 points at the end of it. So, yeah, we've got not really a lot to moan about. We could have come out of them 3-4 games a lot worse than what we have.
No. And that's a good point you make, but now it's time to push on, GFK.
Of course it is. We're coming in. I mean, obviously we're not through the halfway through the season yet, but this is the time to push on. You know, this is the hardest part of any season because players need to stand up and be counted because of the weather, and they need to go out there and play to their potential and show us. I mean, we can carry them so much. being in the terrace and that, but they need to do the stuff for us, and I'm sure they will. I can see a great reaction coming for the team very shortly, and I'm hoping it starts tomorrow, and I'm hoping for a 5 tomorrow. It'd be a great result for us to go in, and depends what happens in Leon. I'm not really bothered. We know what I'm doing, but then we go into the Hearts game next week, so that's what we need to be looking forward to. Look forward to tomorrow's game, concentrate on that, and motor on for there, and let's see where it takes us by the time we get to the Smerlick Park, mate.
Aye, well, I know it's always in the horizon, but we've got to win the games before we get there.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, okay. Mark, who's your team tomorrow? You said you wouldn't make a lot of changes. You making any?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch a back four, although keep McGregor in, keep it back four the same. I'd stick with Alfie for maybe another game, but Sakala's chomping at the bit, I think. But I would maybe make a change in midfield, and I would my midfield, the midfield three, I would change. I would go. Well, I wouldn't change the three. I'd bring in Scott Wright. I don't know who I'd drop, but maybe in the three would be. I would maybe drop Aribo because he annoys me a little bit because he loses a ball and dilly-dallies with it sometimes. So I'd maybe bring Aribo out and bring Wright in, but bring Hadji in one. So, but even Davis, that's what I struggle really. But my midfield would probably be Hadji, Arfield, and Tamara. And put Wright in.
Telling me seriously that Aribo dilly-dallies in the ball and Hadji, doesn't he?
But I think Hadji's involved in more goals. And I can understand what you're saying.
This season.
Yeah, Aribo's like, he tends to annoy me a little bit sometimes. So does Hadji a little bit. But it's like
outside on with that one. This season, Aribo.
I think the two of them can annoy you at times. No, I think Aribo has played some really good games, But again, on Wednesday night, there was times you looked at him, you think you just get pushed off the ball there. You're no running, chasing back and things. But Hadji was the same, The only difference is sometimes you have to put up with that in performances sometimes because look at Livingston, the move we done, and when Kent and Alfie play a 1-2 onto Aribo, he just produces a bit of magic and sticks it right in the top corner. Hadji's done the same for us. He's got his goals in 1-0 games and sticky games, or he's produced a bit of magic that's got us a goal. But on Wednesday night, I'd say Aribo was probably better than what Hadji was on Wednesday night, But I would still have the two of them in my team or tomorrow, I would still have the two of them in my team tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, I just think what's getting me is like the balance. Do you know what I mean? Like, because Hadji has no pace either. You know what I mean? So I think if you've got Kent down one side with pace, and then I think we need someone down the other side with pace, and then Alfie's going to get the service then.
I understand that, mate. I understand.
You know what I mean?
It's
just who you change in the middle, innit? To bring that, to be able to get that balance on the right-hand side that you've got over on the left with Kent.
Mm-hmm. Young GB was suggesting he would play Patterson in a more attacking role. I don't see it myself, but young GB was saying that. Alex?
He's a kind of crowd favourite, Patterson, isn't he? But I think Van Bronckhorst likes to give Tavernier his place as captain. He's not let him down so far, so he probably thinks why change, the formula. I like your thinking though, Mark. I mean, it's so positive going forward, and that's what we're looking for. We want to use the width at Ibrox, and a bit of pace into the team. I think Sakala brings an energy to the team that Morelos just doesn't do. I like Arfield in the team as well. But I would play Aribo more further forward. I would have Kent and Aribo, the two wingers, rather than putting Hadji out there, because it's pointless putting Hadji out there. He wants to be the centre where the ball goes through him constantly, and then he's looking for movement, and he even makes the runs himself. So whatever the gaffer decides, we'll go with. But just I hope we get after a good start and get the crowd on side, you know, and just let's go after them, you know, and secure these points.
You mentioned Sakala and Alfie there, JFK. You ever seen two guys on a football party that look different doing the same job?
Aye, of course. Aye. You know, I'm disappointed in Alfie that he's fell into that, as I said earlier on, having to go looking for the ball all the time. We need to try and give him a bit more service, because we know he's the goal scorer that he is. And Sakala brings something different, we know that. But for Alfie's my number one striker, and I'm happy for him to plod away, if that's the right saying, to try and get more goals, because he deserves it. I mean, last season, the season before, he did for his goal wise. So Sakala will get his chance. I watched his interview the other day, his presser, and it was a bundle of fun and confidence. You know, he's excited to be playing for Rangers. You know, so long may that continue. But Alfie, for me, has got to be the number one striker at all costs. But we need to try and give him a bit more service, and it might happen tomorrow. I'm going for a hat trick for him tomorrow if he starts a game, mate.
Okay, I don't think the hero for Wednesday night, I don't think anybody's put him in their team, have they? Roof, Southside?
No, to be honest, I mean, they come on, I don't think he never actually done much, apart from scoring the penalty, obviously, which is crucial, right? It's no saying he never done much, but I mean, he didn't do anything else in that period of time. You know, I think he made a couple of runs in that, but he didn't really involve himself in the game. But aye, he's a penalty box striker. He's probably one of your best finishers in the box, instinctively. You know, when he's there and thereabouts, he knows how to finish. But no, he's not been put in the team. Just because I think you've got Alfie, and if, like you say, if we can get him right up through the middle, forward, and give him the service, I think we'll get a return for him. And looking at the teams that we've got going for, looking at the teams we've got starting with Dundee, and then looking at Hearts away, and then obviously Dundee United or St Johnstone, they're games where we're looking to get him on the score sheet. So, like you say, as JFK said, we can attack them with pace as well, mate, on the flanks, and hopefully give them the service. So that's what we're looking for. A wee Alfie back and getting the goal scoring spree again and start firing.
Yeah.
Mark?
Yep. Yeah. I'd like to say get on the front foot straight away, I think, and then get Alfie the service. And I think it's a win all day long tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's probably. I think you're right. It should be a win all day long, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. After Oxford, I have to ask, I was listening to the show a couple of weeks ago, and Southside was on about bus journeys to Europe. He was on about a trip to Bratislava. I think I must have been, if it was a Stuart Daniels bus, I think I was on the same bus.
Oh, we might have to take the Fifth Amendment on that one, Mark.
If it was the same, if it was some journey, it was that bus journey took so long to get there, we actually got a flight back. We couldn't do that journey all the way back. It was that many hours.
You might be right, you might be wrong.
Well, I think I'm right. I know the same people he knows down here, so
I think you might do as well, mate. It's a small world, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. When I heard him talking about it, I was chuckling away, thinking, "Oh my God, I remember that journey." Well, I remember some of the journey. I think I remember waking up beside the Danube or something and asking some guy beside me, "What's that river there, mate?" He said, "That's the Danube." Oh, there was some journey out.
Those were the days, huh? Those were the days. Bus journeys, huh? Right, okay. I think we've pretty much covered the team. Giovanni. Right, here's a question for you. I've not heard for you, AK. Arguably now, if we get a more prestige coaching staff in behind the manager than we had with the previous regime.
Arguably, aye. They're certainly more experienced than the previous regime. You know, he's got more of a CV, he's got better credentials, international experience as well, Giovanni's got. You know, and the fact Roy Mackay was one of the top
strikers in Europe with Bayern Munich. Let's not forget his pedigree and what he's bringing to the table. And the Ajax under-18 coach, that guy's produced some fantastic players. So he's got a good eye for a player going forward as well. So he's got a fairly solid, reliable coaching team running about him. The thing that I like about Cavani is he's no fear to change anything in the game if he doesn't like what he sees. And you seen Michael Beale run into Gerrard all the time, instructing him what to do and what to change. And he does it himself. He'll go back to his coaching team and say, listen, I think I'm going to change this and that. And they'll maybe agree or disagree, but he'll do it. And he'll not do it like, certain times that Gerrard used to do in 70 minutes and 75 minutes. See, if he doesn't like what he's seen, he's changing it. So that's good. I like that in a manager. It's different. It brings a freshness to the group and keeps them all on their toes. So I'm pretty pleased with with what we've seen him, and he's brilliant in press conferences as well.
JFK.
Absolutely, far better manager than he'll ever be. Sneaky Pete, I call him. The credentials are there. He's managed one of the best teams in Europe. Was Feyenoord at that time. Semi-final, the World Cup. So runner-up in the World Cup. For me, you can see it. I've said before.
What about his staff? His staff,
I know. I mean, Roy McKay, whatever you want to call him, prolific goal scorer for Bayern Munich. The boy Voss, I was looking him up the other day. I don't know much about him, the new assistant manager. But the gaffer seems to have brought in a good group of people around about him, and I think he's a more astute coach than the other guy was. Because he relied on others to coach the team for him, and I think we've seen that. So I'm happy with what Gio's brought with him, and I think it can only be good for us Oaks here. I think going forward, I think we'll see the fruition of what they can do and bring to Rangers. So long may that continue, mate.
All right, Mark?
Yeah. At first, I was like everyone's a little bit shocked, disappointed in Gerrard. But once I seen Gio coming in and the people he was bringing with him, I actually said to my son, I said he's actually a better manager. Ewan said because he's more experienced. He's been there at the top flight in Europe with Feyenoord. I says, I think we're actually getting a step up, an unforced step up that we weren't expecting. So I think definitely. I think he's a better coach. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Southside.
I think the boy Voss coming in, obviously being at Ajax, is a good pedigree, mate. Time will tell. Time will tell. We didn't really know much about Michael Beale, and by all accounts, he's been about the world and he's learnt his trade and he's learnt for a lot of people, and he is quite knowledgeable. Stevie G different. He came in, obviously he's a figurehead. He's the main man. He brought a backroom staff in with him. JFK, I think that today things that he couldn't do, and Michael Beale was that cog in the wheel along with some of the other coaches he brought in.
Yeah.
And he surrounded himself with that. He had some attributes that he'd have brought to the team and done what he done. But at the end of the day, we've got to go with Giovanni now. As in, you're talking about coaching experience, he's got more than what Steven Gerrard had, obviously. And obviously won things in Holland. But time will tell, mate. At the end of the day, the evidence will be he has to win us this league, and hopefully we'll win the Scottish Cup along with it. And that's the main thing. So time will tell whether he's brought in the right people and who we get in and who we sell and who we bring in and who's a success in time. The same as we're judging Stevie G and his backroom staff, mate.
Score for you tomorrow. Put you on the spot. Big Mark.
3-0 win Rangers, easy tomorrow.
All right. Did you send your big mucker up any grapes?
I tried to get hold of him last weekend, but he was a no-show. He was a bit ill, wasn't he? So,
man for ahead.
Yeah.
3-0 Rangers. I'll take that. AK.
2 or 3-0 for me as well, yeah.
All right, okay. JFK.
I'm still sticking with my 5, mate. I think we'll annihilate them, mate.
Here. I like it. I like your thinking, mate. Southside.
3-0, I said earlier, mate. Sticking with that.
Still sticking with that, yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right, okay. I'll go between the two of you then. I'll go for 4 then. Cover all the bases. How's that, Grabbies?
I'll do it.
But no losing a goal then, eh?
No.
Or the first goal. That'll be a while. Aye, broke the weekend.
He's changed that trend, didn't he?
Aye, that was a trend that was happening. Right, okay, last shout, but if anybody's got a few seconds of their time, please, if they can or they feel they want to, support we're trying to get Jim Forrest into the Hall of Fame. And we'll take it to the club at sidepetitions.com, petition Jim hyphen Forrest, or at RangersRadio.online /Jim, and you'll be able to sign the petition. Bit of fun, really. We want to see if there's interest out there, but we will send it to the appropriate people at the club if we get enough names on it and we think it's right, because we do think we want to right or wrong Southside.
Aye, mate. Hopefully a lot of people will catch on with it and sign the petition, mate, and hopefully the club will do the right thing, and get them into the Hall of Fame. Mate, I'd like to thank you, mate, and JFK for having us on tonight, mate. So thoroughly enjoyed it and enjoyed the night and the callers.
And a wee good night for you, AK?
Aye, thanks for having me on again, boys. Enjoyed that chat. I'm in for the night shift now. I'm over to Ibrox Radio. Thanks again, boys.
Cheers, mate. Big Mark, always a pleasure, big man. See you soon, eh?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks a lot, Oxtra and JFK and everyone. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Mark.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. See you later.
Yeah, JFK.
Yeah, it was nice to be back on tonight, mate, especially a Friday night. I like a Friday night. Good banter. Like to thank my friend Southside. Nice to speak to him. Like to speak to yourself. Thank Fox and our good man Terry behind the scenes and that for doing the technicals. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. And as the old saying is, just keep it going for the Rangers and let's see how far we can go this season, because we know we are the champions. And we're going to get 56, mate. 56 is coming.
Thanks to Jim for Paisley, Big Al for Australia, Mark for Corby, and the one and only Alex Kelly. Thanks to Southside and JFK for doing the show, Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. If you've got a few seconds, please sign my petition. Thanks for listening to Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock with a pre-match show. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Take it away, Old School Blue.
Sure, I was dreaming of old Ibrox, of her slopes and great grandstands, and I dreamed about the Rangers, the best team in the land. When my memory suggested of a vision bright and clear, of the strange things that would happen if we had the Rangers here. Now if the road to Ibrox Park, way up the Shankill, and Ryan Loudrup came from Sandy Road, and Alistair Price came from East Belfast, and old Belfast became then old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, sure no green flags at that game, they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roll, and old boys would stay at home, if we only had the Rangers over here. I dreamed about her Ulster man who wore the shirt of blue, Betty Manderton, Sam English, Laurie Hamilton, McCandless too. I have dreamed of Whitey McDonald, who came from Lisburn town, and the greatest Billy Simpson, who never let them down. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up to Shankill, and Brian Luther came from Sandy Road, and Ali McCoyce came from East Belfast, and then old Belfast became old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, there's no green flags at that game, they will appear. Ulster sons would never roam, all the boys would stay at home. If we only had the Rangers over here, if we only had Glasgow Rangers over here.